So since this is a learning process, everybody has their own rhythms on discovering and learning about self-leadership. So when you are leading a team of people that are still building themselves, that are inexperienced, it is hard at times to be aligned or to really reach an agreement, let's say. Because of that, we have to be very empathetic and really think in the broader good and what is best for the team, what is best for everybody, and be selfless. When you study in a traditional bachelor or in traditional education, or when you are young, the school puts a structure for you, and that's how you build discipline. So discipline is a very, very important factor in anybody's life to achieve any of the goals you want to achieve. What is different in Leinn is that we don't have any structure. It's all about freedom. In Leinn, you build yourself from scratch. And that's why, by having all the freedom, you are fully responsible for achieving your goals, the goals you set for yourself.
So I think that before joining FunCompany, we wouldn't have been able to tell what style of leadership we had, or if we had one. But now, after these years, I think we all have developed our personal styles. Some are more doers, some are thinkers, but we all have learned definitely about team leadership.
But one that I hold very deeply in my heart is the first ever project I did in Shanghai. Here, for the first time, we arrived there and we were like, what should we do? And I'm very passionate about cooking and food and gastronomy and my culture. So I said, I like this, I want to try this, let me start cooking. So from cooking Spanish omelette, tortilla de patata, very basic, very simple, let's try to implement this into China. So from there, we started developing a catering service. And we were surprised that we were this young, we just started in this totally different country, with totally different culture. And we were catering events of over 200 people. We were feeling the most successful people in the world.
It's one of the tools that we're using inside is as a team dynamics. Actually, it's the main difference is that MTA or Mondragon Team Academy's methodology has a difference with another startup process, let's say. We make the whole circles, out of 11 people, and then we give the feedback. We call it 360 feedbacks. So everyone needs to give the feedback for one person, and then every person needs to get feedback from everyone. So if we do it, then it takes usually 8 hours, 16 hours, non-stops, but we do it every semester, let's say. And it was the moment that, because all the semester, what we do is just doing, go to actions, meet the customers, sell the products, and then close the deal. Those processes are happening during the semesters, and then at the end of semester, what we do is we convert all that experience into the learning by giving the feedback, basically. So this is the moment that I can know the part that I didn't know, but others knows. And also it's the moment that I can let other people know that I know, but they don't know. So it was the amazing moment that build a lot of values into the team, and also at the same time bring a lot of growth, individuals' growth.
The Seattle experience was amazing because if you think about it, the next Silicon Valley, for my personal opinion, is Seattle, because of the rising of two main companies as Amazon and Microsoft, and also the tech culture there that has been moving from Silicon Valley to the north. The experience that we have there of seeing the United States business environment and then the technological side of it was amazing.
In FunCompany, we perform self-evaluation, self-team evaluation every 6 months for about 3 days. And when we are done with that, because we give feedback to each other and we look at what we have done over the last half a year, there is always a great feeling of unity and goals seem very reachable. So it's kind of like a rebirth every half a year for the team.
Fulfilling moments were when I was providing a service or giving a product, and it was successfully provided and we were getting paid, but I was feeling more professional. But if I want to highlight, I would like to highlight some moments would be the starting in China, the whole Shanghai experience as newbies and getting to know into this world, the professionalism that we gained in Seattle, that was incredible. And
in Bilbao, the Euskoria moment in which we all as a team achieved to create an event in a really short period of time. And I think the startup mindset that we gained now, the stage that we are at right now.
Basically, all this experience that we've been having has affected really on our way of behaving, our way of acting, our way of dealing with people, dialogue, and all these soft skills that you learn with business. So it's really important to take those into account, and it's one of the biggest outcomes that you can have in this degree, like having good personal, development.
So for me, the FunCompany has really been the right context and experiences in order to be able now to feel confident with myself, to hustle, to be an entrepreneur, to build my future however I want. It was the right context to explore, to try very different fields, to understand what I really wanted and what suited me and my personality, and to understand myself. It's been a very transforming process. I gotta say that I don't think I would have been able to get in a traditional education.
I've been always quite individualistic, always thinking of how was the fastest and the best way to arrive somewhere or to reach my goals. I started like that in Leinn, and my first year was maybe like that, but very soon I realized that if I wanted to go far, I needed to go in as a team, and if I wanted to go fast, maybe I could do it alone. That's why I think my attitude during this year has changed a lot, and now I think I'm quite key in the team playing, and my role is way more unifying that team and trying to go farther rather than faster. Also, I think I've learned key things from different places. I would say in 3 months in China, I discovered the power that Asian cultures and Asian countries had. I think in Europe they taught us maybe more to admire United States, but in 3 months I fell in love with Asian and in China, particularly culture. 6 months in Berlin were more than enough to learn about that very, very special country and that very special ecosystem they had just in Berlin, where people were literally not judging any other people. You could be doing in the street without harming anyone whatever you wanted, and no one, you wouldn't feel judged, no one would judge you, and that was very enriching for me to maybe change my mind in how I was looking to other people.
In my case, I remember that I had quite many fears and personal limitations when it comes to, for example, doing a pitch or doing any kind of presentation. I think that right now I feel more confidence to face any kind of challenge when it comes to work with people.
So basically the struggles that you might have at the beginning is mostly on communication. Because if you think about it, everyone comes from different kind of environments, different ways of communicating, different ways of receiving information and listening. So it's really difficult to have a conversation with other people. So that's like mostly the biggest kind of challenge that you go and develop over these 4 years. And we put a lot of emphasis on this. Managing understanding and managing how you lead with other people, or you lead other people itself. In that position and in those situations, it's one of the most important things.
I think I am growing as a person, and I'm growing in soft skills in an immense way, because I think we as normally, society is not exposed to this kind of experiences until they finish their degrees and until they start going into the business world, until they start working. That is where we start experiencing how business really works, how the world really works, and you start getting those challenges of having to live in another country, having to figure out your life in another country, establish new friends, new relationships, everything in a different place, and be ready for, after 1 year or so, pack everything, say goodbye to all that life that you created there, move it to a different place, and start all over again. All of those things, at such an early age, is not that common. And all those things, I think, are the real value that we're getting from this.
I think one of the most important things I've learned is just to know what I know and what I don't know. As a result, I'm a generalist, and I can look at a big macro point of things and figure out what pieces go where and find the right people to work with and put into action.
Flexibility is like really important for us, because in the beginning we started from scratch everything with maybe not that much skills on the things that we were doing, not maybe the amount of finance. So we were flexible with everything. You know, we could be like offering people a photo shoot without even knowing how to get the cameras. In the hard skills, something really good that we develop is the selling. Selling is something really important for us all over the 4 years, because it's mainly what we do in our businesses and mainly the most important thing to like get revenue. So it's something natural that we've been developing. Marketing comes with it, and like really offering image, good content, and content that attracts people has been also something that we've been developing. Apart from doing a legal entity in the US, doing a legal entity in Spain, and doing a legal entity in Korea, that was something that we got the key insights from it, and you know, those skills were really good for the development of the business and of ourselves. Because it's not like as organized as a traditional company would say, and it's like really on scratch making things. So when we start Facebook or when we start social media for things, we don't know anything about it. When we start finances, we don't know anything about it. When we make proposals, we don't know anything about it. And the way that we actually learn those kind of things to develop our, you know, and to create quality things, it makes us really reflect on the process behind it and make some changes. So finances inside the company and the models that we created, like the Soyu model, how we distribute the kind of resources that we get and the outcomes that we get as a business into something that you say, it's a model that no one has and that we have created from scratch for our own needs. You know, that's a great learning.
Whether we have hard or soft skills at FunCompany can be summarized in the conversation of specialists versus generalists, because thanks to our degree and what we have done for the last 4 years, we have learned a lot of what people would call general skills, or soft skills like leadership, teamwork, networking, and so. But we have also had the chance to work in more technical projects, and especially with technical profiles, so people from outside, and have had the chance to lead them and co-work with them, which has gave us experience in making or helping people with more soft skills work together with hard skills. So I would say that we're a great bridge between both areas of knowledge.
At the very beginning, it's a huge challenge, but once you change that perspective from challenge to asset, then you will see the beauty of the diversity. Because beauty of the diversity gives a lot of asset actually to the team, because since you're different, you fight. But since you're different, you can put different perspective on one thing, so you have more knowledge at the same time, and you have a better ideas, you have a better, so it itself is already create the magical moment. So that's why I put it, diversity is the key of this whole process. Maybe also for the life.
Some things that I wish I knew when I had started the process was start small, start really realistic about what you can do given your networks, given your experience. Don't try to change the world yet. Look at it from a plan A, and then take a big long-term picture and think about how you could develop after you've started already into where you want to become.
For the things I wish I knew before joining the process, I think that I learned during the years that your mind changes many times when you grow, and your ambitions also change. So you shouldn't be like very stubborn or on an idea or a goal, but always stay true to yourself.
What I wish they would have told me, it was not to give up on the ideas that I truly believed in if I didn't see immediate results. It's definitely the best learning. We should never take for granted that the other person is understanding a situation the same way that we are, whether it is a problem, whether it is a business, whether it is a decision. So I think it's very important to set the framework on how it is being understood. And that being a multicultural team was something that we had to work on a lot on our dialogue, especially in the first year, because many problems were just different understandings of a same sentence, of a same situation, understanding where the other person is coming from, what's the mindset that they have. Not only to enjoy, to have a goal in mind, but to also be able to enjoy the ride. I think for hustling, for being for hustling, for being an entrepreneur, it's very important that you're enjoying, because you're going to have a lot of hard times, a lot of times in which you're going to feel insecure about what you're doing, in which some things are not going to work out. Some of the work that you're doing, you will have to change it and readapt it and rebuild it. So if in those moments you are not enjoying the ride, you are not feeling like you're learning, then your goal will evaporate. You need to have that enjoyment and that certainty for those moments.
In many different countries, we have same problem in many aspects, but one thing that we undermine is about the waste issues. Because of it, I want to imagine and dream about there's like several waste country or even the world itself that we manage in a circular way, like that waste not become the waste, but waste become another resource for making something. That's one thing I expect to happen in the future.
So as for the future or the world I envision a world that is changing rapidly towards the better, and a generation of young leaders leading for that growth.
Fresh and innovative ideas are needed nowadays in this world, and I think that we need to give opportunities to young people who have these ideas to lead in business, and stop prejudging based on classic standards, like it can be age, like it can be IQ or studies, and more on their abilities.
I really believe on new ways of education that trigger more things than just the knowledge itself, but also trigger those emotions, trigger being a human being, and not just focusing on getting a diploma and getting a degree that certifies that I'm something, but doesn't really prove that I am able to be like that.
So I believe that society needs more teaching in these soft skills, specifically in dialogue. The ability to listen and to communicate before judging, withholding your judgment, I think it's really needed nowadays. In a time when you have so much social isolation and fragmentation, the ability to come together and just talk without judgment is what's going to help society from being so hateful to each other.
I would like to live in a world of freedom where personal development and personal freedom is boosted through mobility, access to mobility for all. And as for fun in the future, I think we will see many industry leaders come out of this group.